It is now with great pleasure that I introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Alan Gomez, who is currently the Chief Academic Officer for the STEM Academy. He is also an instructor at the University of Wisconsin in the College of Engineering. Dr. Gomez is responsible for the development and continuous improvement of the STEM Academy's internationally recognized K-16 curriculum and professional development program. Dr. Gomez has published materials in professional journals and in the proceedings for ASEE and presented in over 40 states at major conventions and conferences. Alan has reviewed for ASEE's conference proceedings and for the National Science Foundation. Dr. Gomez sat on the National Academy of Engineering's committee that was charged with understanding and improving K-12 engineering education in the United States. He is a former NASA astronaut selection candidate and is the principal author of Engineering Your Future, a project-based introduction to engineering, and Survey of Engineering, textbooks for use at the college freshman, high school, and middle school levels, respectively. Alan holds degrees from the University of Wisconsin-Stout, University of Wisconsin-Madison, and he has taught in several locations, including Fort Worth, Texas, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Madison, Wisconsin. Dr. Alan Gomez.
I don't know if I'll be as inspiring as the band. That was great music. I don't know where they are right now, but let's give applause for that band that was up here. First generation. So I'm about telling stories, and I'm a wanderer, so I'll be back and forth. I'm not a podium guy. I'm also not a microphone guy. I rather actually wear t-shirt and blue jeans, to be honest with you. But we're going to tell some stories. So one of the things that I realized when I'm sitting in your seats is that I need to know a little bit more about the presenter. So I often spend time telling you about me, because who's this person in front of you that should be talking to you? So I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to a very blue-collar family. We didn't have a whole lot of money, and I wore canvas shoes and probably the same thing over and over again. And then I also have a humbling experience. Yes, in the 80s, I had big hair and a dog. In high school, I played baseball and football. More importantly, I was told by my guidance counselors I shouldn't bother going to college. I'm not college material. How many of you, and this is not a question you can answer, but how many of you remember your guidance counselor's secretary's name? Well, I do, because she was the one that, after hearing this, said, and her name is Janice Palin. She said, if you want to go and you have the desire to be there, you go. And my grandfather also said, you're going. At that time, there was a significant investment you had to make in your education, and that was an avenue where you were almost guaranteed success. So after high school, I went to college. I spent 3 years in architectural school in Milwaukee, and then I went to Stout for education. Then they actually gave me a degree, and I started teaching. So some of the projects that we work on, again, I want to show you a little bit of history about me and the work that can be done in your schools, are up here. Top picture is a formula car. This was built with students over a period of about 4 months. And the lead person on this project actually wanted to go to school to be a chef. And there's nothing wrong with that. But he realized real quickly, and we realized real quickly, that he was actually a very good project manager. And by the way, I do know that females make the best project managers and often the best engineers. Attention to detail, follow through, etc. That was unanticipated, though. That's not to take away from the male species. We actually do some nice work as well. The bottom vehicle, 800 miles to gallon. There's no cup holders in it, though. We also work on projects that are different than automotive type things. This is the Overture Center in Madison, Wisconsin. These windows are the largest manufactured windows in the world. They weigh about as much as a Volkswagen. Trouble is, they all hang from the ceiling, right? It's not supported by the bottom. So I had to preload this grid. And the architects came to us in our little high school and asked us what we thought. And often, if you ask a problem to a set of engineers and to students, you'll come up with a lot more creative solutions from the students because they haven't been told they can't before. So the idea was to get them to do that, and actually they preloaded this grid with New Jersey barriers, concrete barriers, and as the windows were put in, the load was taken off. So the actual process that the architects thought they had, well, they actually used a student project. And by the way, I recently attended a nice concert there. Willie Nelson in concert was my Father's Day present to my dad, so I had to get Willie in there somehow. Here is another student project. This is a 9-foot rocket. Inside of this composite rocket is testing equipment to survey lots of different things as it goes up. But you'll look at the wagon on the left-hand side and you'll get a perspective of how big this actually is. This is a project that took around 4 months as well. And they're looking for data, not just blast the thing up and it's cool, but they're capturing data on the way down, etc. So I'll play this and hopefully Jazz has got this queued up and we can go. Windy day, obviously you got an FAA clearance. We're down in Illinois, northern Illinois, to launch this Rockets for Schools. You see the flag. It's not video quality, publication quality stuff, but the idea is kids built this. And obviously you hear the excitement and you have the kids, and this is what it's all about, right? We're inspiring the next generation of engineers, and you've heard this often. Then I decided that it was a good idea, and I went to Wisconsin, and they actually gave me, after lots of hard work, a degree in industrial and systems engineering. And this is a short bus. I did ride the short bus. So my colleagues picked me up and drove my family and I around the campus to deliver me to my graduation and the events afterwards in a short bus. Some of the projects at Wisconsin we worked on in the past, I'm not sure if the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation would want to know this, but seatbelts for buses, obviously we see that a lot now these days. A lot of companies are trying to do this. In 2005, we had this prototype built and others like it. Composite work for a STEP project, and most recently, you'll see a white-tailed deer and the harness on that deer. We actually built a harness that goes on the deer's back and carries that information because these deer were stepping through the collars, and we didn't want to have that harm the animals, etc. Some wheelchairs for Honduras, fabricated all these things from scratch, and why is that important? Because we had to give them something that was repairable in their environment. So instructions, etc. So also all-terrain type vehicles that could move around. And then probably the most public event where we build portals to an architecture out in the engineering mall, foundations, all the work that had to be done with and safety and things like that. So this was a little bit interesting because either faculty loved it or hated it because it was right out in front of engineering hall. It subsequently was taken down.